Firefighting in Canada this week is brought to you by VFIS of Canada, a division of CVIS Incorporated, Canada's largest insurer of firefighters. This edition of Firefighting in Canada this week marks our last. Thank you to VFIS of Canada for supporting the broadcast over 300 episodes since 2015. In 2025, VFIS of Canada will be bringing you Firefighting in Canada, the podcast. In this week's episode, as we approach the end of 2024, we look back at some of the key trends and stories from the Canadian Fire Service this year. 2024 continued some of the trends we saw in the record-setting 2023 wildfire season, with this year ranking as the second most destructive since 1995 at 5.3 million hectares burned. BC experienced the most wildfires at 1,636, followed by Alberta at 1,162. Whose season was headlined by the destructive Jasper Wildfire Complex, which saw over 33,000 hectares burnt and one-third of the buildings in the town destroyed. Wildfires were not the only disaster fire departments had to respond to this year. Southern Ontario and southern Quebec faced significant flooding this summer, Calgary experienced a hailstorm in early August, and multiple tornadoes touched down across the country, including in Ayr, Ontario. These disasters, which researchers are attributing to Canada's changing climate, mean summer 2024 ranks as the most destructive season in Canadian history for insured losses due to severe weather, tallying over $7.7 billion in losses. Firefighter cancer continued to be a major focus for firefighting associations and government officials, with some significant milestones reached in 2024. The federal government introduced the National Framework on Cancers Linked to Firefighting and pledged an investment of over $12 million to advance firefighter health and safety. Multiple provinces also improved firefighter cancer supports, with Quebec expanding presumptive coverage to recognize 6 additional types of cancer, Saskatchewan proposing legislation that, if passed, will see presumptive cancer coverage made available to wildland firefighters, and Ontario introducing multiple pieces of legislation addressing firefighter cancer. These included bills reducing the service time required for firefighters to receive compensation after developing skin or primary site kidney cancer to 10 years, the lowest required duration of service in the country. In addition to a focus on cancer coverage, associations and governments recognize the importance of firefighter mental health with a number of legislative and program introductions. The need for this focus was highlighted in June when the Workers' Compensation Board of Manitoba recognized the suicide of firefighter Preston Heinbigner was a workplace-related injury, emphasizing the mental toll firefighting takes on members of the service. Ontario led the way in 2024, with the provincial government investing $32 million into the Mental Health Supports for Public Safety Personnel program, which will provide specialized services for firefighters, police officers, correctional workers, paramedics, and more. In addition, the Ontario Association of Fire Chiefs launched the Chief Fire Officer Peer Support Program, a mental wellness program designed specifically for the unique problems facing chief officers, including accumulated trauma over a long career and the pressure associated with decision-making on the fireground. There were legislative changes introduced in some provinces and cities that could signal significant change for departments in the year to come. In British Columbia, the government updated the building code to allow for single egress stair designs, a change met with concern from the Fire Chiefs Association of BC and the BC Professional Firefighters Association. The federal government is also consulting with provinces, territories, and key stakeholders, including members of industry and fire safety experts, on the potential for single egress design across the country. And the Toronto Transit Commission Board voted in favor of banning mobility devices with lithium-ion batteries, including electric bikes and scooters, from stations and transit vehicles during the winter months. The decision was passed despite a report saying the complete ban of these devices would disproportionately impact low-income individuals and marginalized groups. Thanks again to VFIS of Canada, a division of CVIS Incorporated, Canada's largest insurer of firefighters. Thank you for watching Firefighting in Canada this week. Be sure to tune in to the podcast with Toronto's next fire chief, landing in your inbox on Friday, January 3rd.